Hi everyone, I'm Angela from the Martians Robotics team. By the time this video has come out, it will be almost or already August. And unfortunately, the deadline for registering for an FTC team has already passed because that was in May. But you may be planning for things to do next year and want to do just one more thing that will help your school or community. Well, you're in luck because right now is the perfect time to prepare to start an FTC robotics team. So as you can tell by the title of this video, today I'm going to be explaining how to start an FTC robotics team. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this channel's demographic is, as this is the first video, but depending on what kind of viewer you are, you may be hearing about FTC for the first time today, or you may have already done a fair amount of research on it. I'm guessing that since you clicked on this video, you probably have some sort of interest in what FTC is, or some interest in STEM, computer science, robotics, etc. But no matter what, the first step to starting an FTC team is doing your research on it. I'm guessing that I may be part of your research, so I'll give you a short introduction to what FTC is. FTC stands for First Tech Challenge. The first word is first, and that is an organization that stands for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. The grade range of FTC is 7th to 12th graders, and the age range is about 12 to 18 years old. However, coming from personal experience, and you didn't hear this from me, this range is subjective, and the judges won't really care if you're 10 or 11 years old. If you're looking to start a robotics team for a younger age group, you should check out FLL, which stands for First LEGO League. This competition is also organized by First, but it is elementary to 6th graders. FTC teams usually consist of minimum 4 to maximum 15 team players. This is because usually you need 4 of your own team players on the field during a game at once. And these 4 players are 1 coach, 2 drivers, and 1 human player, unless your alliance already has their own human player, and that means that you won't have to provide your own. I won't explain the game itself, but you can find more on the First Tech Challenge website. Next, you need to acquire the knowledge and materials needed to start your team. So here's basically a general list of what you need: industrial or metal parts, sensors, phones or expansion hub or control hub, software plus programming knowledge, 3D modeling software, and of course, your team members, mentors, and coaches. Obviously, you can't really pull these things out of thin air. You need funding. And how do you get funding? Well, there are a few ways. First is paying for everything yourself, which I think is the worst option because nobody really has all that money. Next is splitting the payment between team members, which is better, but obviously still very costly. Another option is FTC's funding. When you register for an FTC team, the FTC organization will provide you with $300 that you can spend to buy a basic FTC kit. And this will contain the most basic of robot parts. Unfortunately, your team may need more things than just a basic robot kit, so you must have another option that you can use to fund your team. Lastly, which I think is the best way of funding your team, is sponsorships. So sponsorships are very important because this is a way for companies that are outside of FTC to support your team, and also you can use this to fund your team. To get a company to sponsor your team and help you to fund your team, first you should create a sponsorship proposal, which is basically an explanation of why this company should sponsor your team. And then you can identify potential sponsors, reach out to them, or participate in local or networking events to meet potential sponsors face to face. After that, you should offer benefits to try and secure and maintain those sponsorships. The companies you should look out for as potential sponsorships could include local businesses or any other businesses that align with your team's values. 3 things that are pretty important when it comes to being a successful FTC team are software, hardware, and 3D modeling. First, I'm going to explain software, which is basically just programming. There are 2 programming languages that are used in FTC. First is Blockly, which is created by Google and is block coding, and next is Java. Our team used Java programming, as did many other teams. I think more people in general use Java. This is because it is more versatile. If you've never learned any other programming language, it may be hard to learn Java at first, but it's still one of the more simple programming languages that exist. Next is hardware. There are a few different options to choose when you're building your robot. The most popular robot parts suppliers are Tetrix, Rev, and GoBuilda. Tetrix is probably the most simple, and FTC also sends you a Tetrix kit by default when you register for your FTC team. However, GoBuilda is more expensive, but it is also more versatile and easier to assemble. The basic parts are cheaper, but as you buy more and more complex parts, they also get more and more expensive. Next is 3D modeling. FTC requires the team to have a very detailed engineering notebook, which basically just includes all your thought processes and what your team was basically doing every meeting. You will need to document how your team developed your robot and your software. It's usually recommended to document the process of your robot using a 3D modeling software. Using 3D modeling, you can simulate the robot parts movements, and you can also calculate the weight or weight distribution of your robot. This is important because it's not that reliable to calculate these things yourself. If the weight of the robot isn't distributed evenly, your robot may not be able to go in a straight line. You can also create customized robot parts, which usually gives you an advantage during the tournaments. You usually create your own custom beacon using 3D modeling. Some possible 3D modeling softwares are Creo, AutoCAD, Onshape, and SolidWorks. All of these 3D modeling softwares have different license models, subscription or retail. Unfortunately, I don't really know of any free softwares. However, FTC did partner with Creo, so the software is free for all FTC members. AutoCAD is a subscription, and you can also buy SolidWorks for retail. Onshape isn't free, but they might be one of the possible sponsorships that you may want to pursue. If you get a sponsorship from Onshape, you may be able to get a discount from them. Onshape is also online, so it may be more accessible. Our robotics team used SolidWorks because it is the easiest to use. Now I'll go over possible team member roles as well as adult roles for your FTC team. So some possible team roles are robot architect, Java programmer, 3D modeler, outreach manager, quality assurance, and treasurer. Unfortunately, you can't really create an FTC team without adults, so I will outline the adult roles of the team. First, you need 2 coaches, which could be one of the team parents or someone from school or any trusted adult who you know who may have some experience in computer programming. These coaches also have to go through the youth protection training program as well as a criminal background check. So pick your coaches wisely. Next is 1 team manager who coordinates team activities. Finally, there's parent volunteers who are chaperones for the tournaments and provide logistics support for team members. Something that our team definitely forgot about our first year was marketing our team to the other teams, judges, community, school, and I guess the general public. Your FTC team has to have a catchy name, an eye-catching logo, and a memorable slogan. It's great if all of these have some sort of story behind them, and you can talk about these in the interviews that you're going to have to do during tournaments. Now I'll talk a bit about uniforms, which I like to call merch. As my intro to business, finance, and economics teacher said, aesthetics are important. If you don't know what you're doing, at least make it look nice. I don't think it's required for your team to have a uniform or team t-shirts, but it does give your team a sort of positive reputation or image that could give you an advantage. The Martians' original uniform was a red t-shirt with a drawing that one of my teammates made when he was in 2nd grade. And this was when we were still an FLL team. But we didn't change our team t-shirt until this year, which is around 5 years later. I'm not saying you should make new uniforms every year, but I am saying that it is good to renew your uniform every few years since some people need new sizes anyway. I'll also talk a bit about social media. To have a memorable team, you should create a website that you regularly update with things you've done, accomplishments, etc. To have a memorable team, you should create a website that you update regularly with things you have made progress on, any accomplishments, etc. I would also recommend creating social media accounts, such as Instagram and TikTok, sharing some of these things as well, or more of what happens during your team meetings. Not only is this something to discreetly show off during tournaments, but it also provides a great team bonding opportunity. Now that I've gone over hopefully what I think is most of the important stuff, here's a general timeline of your FTC team's first year. Now you have an overview of how to start an FTC team. If you enjoyed this video, we would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you have questions on anything I said in this video, or if I left something out that you think that I probably should have mentioned, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.